Dr. Phil.
I've slept with men, women to get heroin.
Addicted.
She did heroin last week, overdosing twice, and you're going to do it tomorrow unless something dramatic happens to change your life.
And out of control.
Can you tell me where her anger is coming from?
Does it matter? Because it has nothing to do with why she's doing heroin. You do heroin because that's who you are, and that's what you do. Let's do it.
Good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Well, Sandy says she is convinced that if her daughter Kelly really wants to get clean from drugs, she needs to admit all of her past trauma. In particular, Sandy claims Kelly's father molested her from the ages of 7 to 17. Sandy says Kelly revealed her secret during one of her many rehab stays, but then retracted it so she didn't have to testify in court. Kelly is adamant that she was never molested by her father, and she only accused him of abuse after her mother had her hypnotized to turn her against him. Now, there is one thing that Sandy and her daughter Kelly do agree on, though, and that is if Kelly doesn't change today, she is on a track towards death. Take a look.
Kelly is an addict and she cannot stop.
I can't keep doing this.
She gets clean for a minute and she goes right back out.
Kelly's drug of choice is heroin. I'm using heroin every day. As soon as I wake up, I have to get high.
Kelly drinks, does heroin, takes Xanax, she smokes pot.
For Kelly, it's normal, but for me, it's very shocking.
In high school, Kelly was always the prettiest girl. Everybody loved her. I had no idea Kelly was using drugs until 3 or 4 years later.
When Kelly was 17, I got a phone call from the school. They said, your daughter's been taking pills and drinking alcohol. You need to take her to the hospital and they may need to pump her stomach.
I've overdosed 8 times at least that I remember. I have track marks from veins blowing out. Kelly always tells me, you'll never understand. To me, I'm just like, why can't you just stop right now? And she'll tell me, I want to.
Kelly has been abused, raped, kidnapped. She's been held against her will. I believe Kelly has addiction because of buried secrets she has about her father.
I think Kelly's gonna die before we know it.
Kelly needs to come clean with her traumas to get clean.
Okay. Now, let's talk about what we can agree on first, all right? We certainly agree that Kelly is in a bad way addiction-wise, right?
Right.
Yes.
She's been to 20-plus rehabs?
I've lost count, but it's close to 20.
Yeah. It has never really had any traction with her at all. Why do you suppose that is?
I feel like it's because of all the trauma she's been through, and she's never addressed her trauma. She's never faced her trauma or dealt with it.
What do you think?
Well, when I've talked to Kelly after she's left a treatment center, she's using that day.
Who hypnotized her?
Just some psychologist that someone gave us the name of, just to try to draw this out of her.
Some psychologist. Was this
I
a
don't know his name.
board-certified and licensed professional? Was this a trained hypnotherapist? Was this someone that knew what they were doing? Were they licensed?
They were licensed. It was
in hypnotherapy?
Yes.
She says she started using real early in her life, like 9 years old?
Yes.
And you raised her pretty much as a single parent until she was 7.
She was a little over 8. Yeah.
And then you took her to her dad some.
When she turned 7, her dad started calling her and wanted visitation.
And you allowed that?
I allowed that.
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that's when you started having, he started having access to her.
Yes.
In retrospect, was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Very bad thing.
Okay, and you know that now, but you didn't know that then.
That's right. I didn't have a good feeling about it at all, but everyone around me, everyone I talked to about it, said that's her father. She needs to have a relationship with her father.
That he was smoking dope, that he was drinking, and she saw him doing that, so she said, I'll try it. She started experimenting with alcohol and marijuana, and that she first shot something in her veins at age, 9, 10, 11, very young.
She never told me the age.
Yeah, she told us that she did it with him, not with him, but at his place, using his drugs at a very young age.
I had no idea. She was a master of disguise, a master. Truly.
Yeah.
Which I feel like she still is, because a lot of the times when I've seen her in person, I don't know.
Well, she was doing meth at 12. She says she was doing meth at 12. Nobody noticed a 12-year-old meth head? How is this possible? And no adult in her life said, that kid's on meth.
She was going to counseling, therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist from the age of 7 on.
She says you put her in institutions 4 or 5 times when she was growing up, that you wanted them to raise her instead of you.
No.
I'm just telling you what she said. I wouldn't know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what she said.
When she was 7, she was in 1st grade. The school called me and told me she picked up a chair, threw it across the room at the kids. So I went to the school and I got her, talked to the principal. I took her to my doctor. He suggested go to a psychiatrist. I went to a psychiatrist. They said put her in the psychiatric ward, Cook's Children's Hospital. And so that's what I did.
She threw a chair?
She threw a chair across the room.
And you institutionalized her because she threw a chair?
The doctors had me put her in the hospital.
Well, I know, but you're her mother. The doctors can't put her in. You have to put her in.
Well, if she's throwing a chair, she's so angry. I don't know where this anger is coming from.
How many times did you institutionalize her?
Once, twice, 3, probably 4 psychiatric different locations.
While
hospitals.
She was what age? Between 7 and what?
13, 14.
Okay, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In that age, she was put in psychiatric ward 4 or 5 times. She says 4 or 5. You say 4.
What am I supposed to do? I mean, I don't know what's wrong with her. I don't know what to do to help her. That's what I need from you. I need your help. And they just kept putting her on medication.
Is this part of the trauma that you think she needs to resolve?
Yes.
Do you think you traumatized her by institutionalizing her at a young age?
It seems from her version, yes, she feels traumatized from that. I did not know what to do with an out-of-control child.
Well, Kelly says that her mother sheltered and enabled her growing up and used institutions to parent her when she acted out. So we're going to meet Kelly when we come back.
I've been struggling with addiction since I was 8 years old. I almost died from sepsis twice. I was dead on the table. The doctors brought me back to life. It wasn't hard for me to go straight to the heroin. That was the drug that was for me.
And later, it's time to put it all out on the table. Did your father molest you or did he not?
Tomorrow, a Dr. Phil exclusive. Bhabie Petito's parents speak out. New details, new revelations. The first ever sit down with Gabby's 4 parents. The Dr. Phil Bhabie Petito family exclusive. Then on Thursday.
His phone saying to kill me.
Mom says her daughter's gone from bad
Do you want her dead?
I was just joking around.
to much worse.
She like that
Thursday.
hit me. I did not threaten to hit you. I did it one time. That's what I said in the interview. That's not what you just said on the tape.
Let her finish a sentence.
I want her to get help.
I'm giving it to you right now.
That's Thursday.
Kelly became an angry child at the age of 7. Just after she started her visitation with her father, she would throw things, yell, argue with the teacher, argue with me. I sent her to the psychiatric hospital because she was so angry, but it never helped. I believe Kelly's anger is still present to this day.
Well, I'm here with Sandy, Kelly's mother, and Stacy, Kelly's best friend. We're talking about the fact that Kelly has been to rehab almost 24 times, apparently with no effect whatsoever. Kelly says she's been using drugs and alcohol since she was 7, 8 years old. And the theory is that she's been doing it to numb herself from pain. She says she was only 15 years old when she met heroin. And from there, it was game over.
Dr. Phil has to know how bad it is to know how he can help me. How's anybody going to help me if they don't know what the real problem is?
I've been struggling with addiction since I was 8 years old. I began to see my dad again. I saw that he was drinking, smoking pot, so I started stealing his pot and experimenting with pot and alcohol. 12 years old is the first time I ever shot anything into my veins.
This is where it stops tonight, but where does it stop tomorrow?
My mom never really suspected anything. I was always either at some kind of practice or with a friend, quote unquote, studying. Growing up in 2 different environments, I used drugs to kind of escape that pain of how bad they hated each other. Over at my dad's, he would get so drunk and stoned that he couldn't deal with me. When my mom couldn't handle me and my anger, she would send me away to mental institutions. It wasn't hard for me to go straight to the heroin. That was the drug that was for me. In my 20s, I was sex trafficked. I almost died from sepsis twice. One time, my mom had taken me to the hospital. She had gone to get lunch, and when she came back, I was dead on the table. The doctors brought me back to life. I mean, what mom wants to watch her child die on the table? Dr. Phil is my last hope. I either take his advice or I die.
Have a seat. Well, Kelly, how are you feeling today?
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little nervous. I'm surprised, but super grateful I'm here.
Tell me about your pattern of heroin use in the last couple of weeks.
The last couple of weeks, I've actually been in a detox facility. As soon as I got out, the day I got out, I was shooting heroin again. So, I mean, before that, before the detox facility, I actually overdosed twice within 5 days of each other.
What happened?
The paramedics came in and they had to Narcan me twice because I wasn't waking up from the first dose.
And where were you?
It was like an abandoned tire shop that I was in.
How did they find you?
I have no idea. I mean, I woke up to the paramedics. I guess the guy that I was with had called 911.
That was the first time.
That was the first time. And then 5 days later, I overdosed again.
Okay, so twice in 5 days, you shot up enough heroin to kill you if someone hadn't intervened.
Correct.
And where are you getting the money to buy this with?
You know, that's one thing that I don't know how I've managed, is I've never needed money to get the heroin that I needed. They see me coming and they're pretty much like, well, she's going to spend money eventually, so we'll just give it to her now.
When they don't give it to you, how do you buy it? How do you get money?
I either groom dogs, on the side. I'm a dog groomer, so I'm kind of like an entrepreneur. I always mow a lawn or do something, to earn money. I've pawned my guitar I don't know how many times. Mm-hmm. I've slept with men. I've slept with women to get heroin.
So do you care if you die?
Absolutely, I do. I wouldn't be here if I wanted to die. Dr. Phil.
Well, you've been to rehab, you said 20 times. And
probably, at least.
And you start using immediately when you get out. Why do you go? What's the point in going to rehab?
I don't know. You know, I don't have an excuse for that. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have some more questions for Kelly. I really want to know why she made a statement and then recanted her statement to the DA, claiming that her father molested her for 10 years. Her mother seems adamant that it happened. She said it did, then she said it didn't. I want to get to the bottom of that when we come back.
My mom felt it necessary to take me to a hypnotherapist. I don't even remember saying that my dad sexually abused me.
I was stunned. She told the DA she would not go in front of her dad and testify.
From selling.
A few years after the alleged abuse allegations against her father were made by Kelly, I came across the journals that Kelly had been writing in and the secrets she had been hiding. It was horrific. They haunted me. I had nightmares for years. I did get rid of the journals, but I will never forget the words I read.
Well, Kelly says she has no memory at all of her father molesting her and claims her mother only wanted her to believe that because of her hatred for him.
When Kelly was 17 years old, she confessed to a counselor that she had been abused by her father sexually. I was stunned, shocked.
When I was in early teens, my mom felt it necessary to take me to a hypnotherapist. All I remember is asking me questions about my dad. I don't even remember saying that my dad sexually abused me while I was in there. I just know that when I was done and I came out, there were, people that wanted to talk to me about my dad sexually abusing me, and I was very confused.
There was an investigation. The district attorney asked her, "Can you tell me your father did not do this to you?" She said, "No, I can't."
Yes, there were times where my dad would be in his underwear, and I thought that was a little weird. But that's about the extent of the memory I have of anything inappropriate that my dad did around me.
She told the DA she would not go in front of her dad and testify.
My mom believes that I keep denying the fact that my dad abused me. I don't believe that one bit. Never have, never will.
Okay, Kelly, we're kind of down to the nitty-gritty here. I mean, it's time to just put it all out on the table, and I don't have a vested interest in this one way or the other. Did your father molest you, or did he not?
I have no memory of that. I don't even remember that period of time where my mom is talking to the DA and all these other people. I don't even remember doing that in itself. I don't know if maybe I've just blocked it out. I don't know if there are some deeper rooted issues that I need to, look at. I just know that I need direction because I can't keep living like this. Like, I don't want to die from this disease. I don't want to continue using heroin because I can't figure out what's really going on with me. So it scares me, Dr. Phil. It scares the crap out of me, and I'm desperate here for answers. I have no idea what to do from here, but my white flag is up. I don't know what else to do. I don't know where else to go. I don't know who else to talk to. I don't, that's why I was very adamant on saying how many treatment centers I've been to. Because I don't know what will work.
Well, your mother seems to be all in on the fact that you have this unresolved trauma in your life and that you're doing drugs because you're self-medicating. Right? And that the big trauma is that you were molested by your father. You've said it happened, and you said it didn't happen. So you've told the story both ways. And I'm just wanting to get that on or off the table.
I really don't remember it.
Because I personally don't think that has anything to do with why you're doing drugs. I think I know why you're doing drugs, and I'm happy to tell you why.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll tell Kelly exactly why I think she's doing drugs, even when she ODs to the point of killing herself twice in 5 days. Tell her exactly why she's doing this when we come back. Closed captioning.
When I was 18 years old, I was pregnant. When I told my mom, she didn't want anything to do with my pregnancy or me.
I was very, very angry.
I went through the adoption because I didn't know what else to do.
I mentioned adoption. I didn't force her into the adoption.
I wanted to keep my son.
I assumed Kelly was clean through most of her pregnancy until the very end.
The day before I got induced, I ended up doing cocaine. So when he was born, he did have cocaine in his system. That should have been motivation enough for me to stop using, and it wasn't.
Well, Sandy says her daughter Kelly has been in crisis mode most of her life and pushes away anyone and anything that's good in her life. Sandy says she believes Kelly's traumas will continue to feed her addiction until she's ready to face all of them head on. Now, that's your theory about this. You're her best friend. What's your theory about all this?
I just don't think she cares. I don't know how she's alive today. I tell her all the time.
Do you have a theory?
I mean, that makes sense. You would think that, you know, finding purpose is what we all try to do. I don't think I ever felt like I had a purpose anywhere. You know, I've learned to play the victim so well, manipulate, you know, my way through this life, and I don't know how I'm alive.
Well, I said that I felt like I know exactly why you're doing what you're doing, and that I would tell you in no uncertain terms. And I think the reason that you do heroin the way you do is because you are a heroin addict. That's what you do. That's who you are. You do heroin today because you did heroin yesterday, and you did heroin yesterday because you did heroin the day before. And lazy people take the line of least resistance. And you are a lazy, unmotivated person that just gets up and does today what you did yesterday because it's the line of least resistance. It's what you've done for the last 1,000 days of your life.
They can't even match the music. They can't even rap, they're just black producing. Now they wanna crack the new shit. They just wanna act, they done bath the new kids. They can't even match the music. They can't even rap, they're just black producing. They just wanna crack the new shit. They just wanna act, they done bath the new kids. Sorry big man, with your big life and your kid man.
You got momentum, and you've been doing it day after day after day after day after day after day. So it doesn't take a genius to predict what you're going to do tomorrow. Look, things often begin for one reason and continue for a whole separate set of reasons.
From the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency, this is the required monthly test of the Emergency Alert System.
Doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with why you're doing it today. You're doing it today because you did it yesterday. And you're going to do it tomorrow unless something dramatic happens to change the momentum in your life. It's that simple. You can talk about all of this. Did her dad molest her or did he not or whatever? And if that's happened in your life, are you going to need to deal with that at some point? Yeah. If you want to have peace in your life, you're going to need to deal with that at some point. But that is not a requisite to getting off heroin. It just simply isn't. If you tried to raise her through institutions and she is secretly hugely pissed off that you dumped her on institutions instead of mothering her in the way a mother should mother her, and she's going to hate you for the rest of her life for doing that to her because she threw a chair when she was 7, then yeah, she's going to have to deal with that at some point. But that is not why she did heroin last week twice to the point of overdosing. So you get off the hook. That's not your fault.
Okay.
Did you screw up as a mother? We don't have enough time for me to tell you how you probably screwed up as a mother, but I suspect you probably did the best you knew with what you had at the time.
Can you tell me where her anger is coming from?
Does it matter? Why do you care? Are you here to do an anger seminar, or are you here to save her life?
I'm here to save her life.
Then let's not worry about the anger right now, because it has absolutely nothing to do with why she's doing heroin.
Okay.
You see, that's my point. That's my point. Everybody wants to be Sigmund Freud and figure out, well, what about her anger? Well, what about this molestation? What about this? What about that? What about this? Has nothing to do with why she's doing heroin. Be happy to discuss that with you someday. But it has nothing to do with whether she's going to kill herself tomorrow or not. It's a valid question, just has nothing to do with the order of the day. We'll be right back. In season 20, and we could not do it without you.
Now that some of the COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted, we can have a studio audience back.
If you're going to be in the Los Angeles area and would like to attend a taping, go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience and select In Studio. Well, Kelly, here's the question that you've got to ask yourself. The question is not whether you want to get clean and sober or not. The question you have to ask yourself is whether you deserve something better than what you're getting. Whether you deserve something better than what you're generating for yourself in your life. And that begins with a sub-question. And that sub-question is whether or not you can forgive yourself and every other player in your life for everything that has happened so far. Because if you can't do that, then you're going to continue to be stuck right where you are. And unless you can say, you know what, not even God can change what has happened, but I've got to be willing to forgive myself for that. Forgive myself for doing drugs when I was 8, 9 years old. Forgive myself for putting my child in an adoption scenario. Forgive myself for blowing 20 shots at rehab. Forgive myself for ODing twice in 5 days. Forgive myself for not being a giver, instead being a taker with my best friend. Forgive myself for all the things I've done that I am not proud of. I got to wipe the slate clean and forgive myself and start over as a new human being. If you cannot do that, then you're not ever going to generate different results than you've been generating. And if you want to generate something better in your life, then I would be willing to find some way to help you do that. But I'm not going to be the one that's working the hardest on this out of the two of us. And you got to decide, you either want to generate better in your life or you don't. It's not about being clean and sober. It's about first deciding whether you deserve a better trip through this life than the one you've generated so far. And when you make that decision, you let me know.
I have made that decision.
We'll see. We'll see. You make it sitting in that chair today. We'll see if you say that same thing tomorrow. But you know how to get in touch with me. You let me know. And if you want to generate those results, then I will get you help to do that.
You look so international. Girl, what's your name? I have to know. Ain't no one else in your lane. Let's fill this car with gas and go. No hesitation, I'm on it. If that's the way that you want it, that's cool with me, so let's ride. Let's go somewhere that you lie.
And I mean real help to do it. Coming up, my next guest is an elite skateboarder, but he's nearly blind. How does he do it? Well, we're going to find out when we meet him next. Follow and subscribe to my podcast, Phil. Coming up on Dr. Phil, visit our website and subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today. As a young boy, my next guest, Justin, had dreams of becoming a professional skateboarder. But at 8 years old, he was diagnosed with a disease that slowly took away his sight. By his mid-20s, Justin was almost totally blind. But despite losing 90% of his vision, Justin is still pursuing his passion to skateboard.
Felt good. The journey of losing my sight, it was like a roller coaster. I'd be at the park and not be able to do what I did the day before. I was very frustrated and I decided to give up skateboarding altogether. With skateboarding no longer in my life, I was depressed. It took me 2 years to transform back into the person I am today. In my everyday life, I fail at normal tasks. I'm always knocking stuff over. I needed to make my life easier. And now I have help. Hey, Orcam, smart reading. Find total.
Total due $77.
The Orcam device has helped return my confidence back. Laundry detergent. It makes my life more normal. And now that I have skateboarding back, life is amazing. I'm never gonna give it up again.
Well, joining me are Justin and Dr. Brian Walensky, an optometrist and Orcam spokesperson. So good to see you again, Doctor.
Grab another bottle of that bubbly, top shelf living. We don't owe you an apology. Grab another bottle of that bubbly, top shelf living. We don't owe you an apology.
And thank you both for being here. Justin, when you were 8 and told you were going to lose your sight, what do you remember about that?
I remember my dad taking it pretty rough, but I was so young that it didn't really mean anything to me yet. It wasn't until later on in life where, you know, simple tasks like reading became a challenge.
Right. We saw in the tape at one point you were forced to give up your passion of skateboarding. What was the turning point that got you back out there?
Once I realized that I was kind of defining myself by my blindness, once I got past that hurdle of getting, you know, over being like calling myself blind, I was able to just go back to my passion and be me again.
Yeah. So what did it mean to you when you got skateboarding back into your life? It became part of who you were again.
It meant everything, because every day I had skateboarding back in my life, I felt like me again before I lost my sight.
You're going to have to tell me exactly how you do that. Yeah. How do you skateboard?
Yeah, it's all about the right tool for the job. So I started out using my cane. Then that evolved into also using audible markers, like sound devices, to let me know where the edge of ramps are, so I don't fall off the edge of the ramp. And then I'll even use rope to like guide me to exact obstacles for like precision.
It's a lot easier said. That's a lot easier said than done. We also saw on the tape how an amazing device is helping you change other aspects of your life. So tell me about that, Justin.
The Orcam My Eye has been improving my independence by letting me recognize my friends and family, to identifying products, to even reading any text.
You show us how it works.
Yeah, definitely. Let me show you with this magazine. Hey, Orcam, smart reading.
Ready.
Start from skateboards.
The first skateboard started with wooden boxes, or boards, with roller skate wheels attached to the bottom.
Oh, come on. Dr. Walensky, tell us more about this device. This is just amazing to me.
Dr. Phil, the Orcam My Eye is the world's most advanced wearable assistive technology for people of any age who are blind, visually impaired, or have reading challenges. You saw Justin use the latest Orcam technology. He simply said, "Hey, Orcam," and then gave a voice command and told it what to read.
Bugatti riding slow tonight, 'cause I'm loving every moment under city lights. Bugatti riding slow tonight, 'cause I'm loving every moment under city lights.
Right. And do you need Wi-Fi to use the device?
Absolutely not. It's a self-contained device. Anyone can use it anywhere. Dr. Phil, to see Justin get back to his passion of skateboarding and add independence in his daily life, that's really what Orcam is all about.
You know what a fan I am of this. It's mind-blowing what you guys have developed here. Do you have any special projects that you're working on?
Right now, I'm just trying to introduce adaptive skateboarding to anybody with disabilities or challenges in their life. And then we're also working with USA Skateboarding to try to get skateboarding into the 2028 Paralympics.
Now you're talking. That's... I've been working with this for several years now, and I've seen how remarkable this device is and how it has changed lives. And if you or someone you know is interested in purchasing an Orcam My Eye, you can now receive a $500 discount. But this is a limited time offer that is only available to Dr. Phil viewers. And I'm really proud of that, because I'm really proud of this. Just go to Orcam.com for all the details. And again, this is a limited time offer, so don't delay. And like I say, I've been working with this for years, and so I've watched these folks use this and how much it empowers them in their lives. I want to thank all of my guests today. Justin, good luck with your 2028 Paralympics project. Keep us posted on that. It's inspirational people like Justin that I like to feature on my weekly podcast, Fill in the Blanks. I have great conversations with some of the most interesting and accomplished people in the world today. I think you'll be entertained and informed, so follow me there. And do you like hearing secrets? Then subscribe to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw. She and her talented and powerful guests share secrets to a happy and fulfilling life. No topic is off limits, so I take no responsibility for what you hear when you go to her podcast. I'll see you.